Hey guys, Mark Ferrasci, ProTech Dog Training in Jezebel on about the fourth day they've been here. So I won't repeat what I just went over with No Name. No Name is available. It's a brother. The female's staying with me and the brother's going to get flipped. Good dog, good. So whoever's interested in a very strong, well-bred dog, Dutchie, if you've got the qualified demeanor, meaning qualified by virtue that you've had working dogs, you're into the working dog sport and or police, give me a yell, okay? Because No Name is going to be a hell of a dog if he's worked properly, right? They're young right now. They're about 8-9 weeks old. 9 weeks, somewhere in there. Yep. Jezebel's bigger than her brother. Brother's small, and that's true a lot of times with these Dutchies. The litters that I've had, females a lot of times are bigger than the males. Mother Nature gives them what they need to spit out some puppies, huh, babies? Huh? Yeah. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah, good girl. Nope. Good. Good. Yep. So right now I'm going to concentrate on voice tone and vocabulary. So let's do that now. Yep. Good dog. Good. Yay. And notice they have a big tendency to want to follow and chase. So I'm going to imprint that because I want them chasing. This is going to go into my luring later. To me, when I see a person out there, it's admirable. Some of these girls get so into doing the behaviors. I've seen plenty of people that really get into it because they're just learning to train dogs and they think that this is everything. It's not. My dogs will always be stronger than theirs in a lot of ways because I have a lot more understanding of the hardwiring of the dog. What makes this dog tick? Nope, nope. He wants that food on the ground. I won't let her have it. The rule starts real early. Food that's on the ground is not allowed. Later, I'll balance that out. If I want the dog to go after things for scent work, it's not going to affect them at all because remember how contextual dogs are, right? We're in this area. We always come out to this place, same pattern, same routine, and this is what happens with the rules. I can go into other stuff to increase the dog's nose, get him searching and everything. It's not going to affect them. People think that because I don't want the dog to go to the ground, that means the dog would be hindered because his nose is not being allowed to go to the ground. Wrong. It's contextual. I can set up little patterns and routines towards the nose work in other areas, in other spots. This is going to be a pattern that I set up in the morning. And what I mean by pattern, you come out, you go to the bathroom, you go into the kennel. Then a little bit later, as time goes along, I come out here. Whatever routine that I have needs to be consistent so they can learn and grow from it. That's the most important thing at this age. That and what I said when I was talking about No Name was coddling. I separate that, and I love them. Good girl, yay, did the babies, yay. But I don't have that as my main emphasis as a human being because remember what I always say, that's for you, that's not for the dog. You want to build the dog, think about the dog, stop thinking about what you need emotionally, right? And that's usually what happens. Most people get a dog because they want a baby, you know? The women go through a whole phase where they want, nope, nope. Nope. She's got a nose on her. Look at her. She's going for the ground, boy. That's good. Little signs like that tell you things. Tells you we got a strong nose, so I can put that to work in other areas. I've got other spots that don't have all this dirt that I can use for finding things and start out imprinting the dog on the nose. And you can do all kinds of little tricks. You see some of these trainers that only feed out of their hand and then they put kibble in the grass and the dog's got to find it and their nose is on the ground. All that stuff is great. Don't get me wrong. Yep. But whatever pattern and routine, and you want to bring that out in the dog, you set up a pattern and routine that's going to bring that out, right? One trainer one year was doing it a lot and accenting the point that he let his dog jump into cars to find the bowl in the car. Nowadays, they don't do as much car searching like that because of all the real dangerous drugs that are in the vehicles, and their dog will die, right? And they go in there and take a big old sniff of some of these drugs and the dog is dead, right? It's too dangerous. So they'll do a cursory outside sniff of the car, but they won't necessarily put the dog in the car that gets poked by needles and all the drugs that are in the vehicle because of these people that are doing their lifestyles based around drugs and negative behaviors on their part that could put the officer or the dog, which is an officer, in harm's way. So they've changed the way they do things. In the old days, they used to have a dog jump into the car and sniff and find the items. Nowadays, they've reduced that dramatically because of how dangerous it is. Yep. Good dog, good. There you go. Yep. Nope, come on. Good dog, good, good. There you go, good. Yep. And all I'm using is movement right now. As time goes along, the dog is so used to what I'm asking of it because I'm going back and forth, I'll start adding names. Usually this one, though, I do hup right away. And then I'll go place with these later. And it's the old rule of not saying the word until the dog has it wired, the behavior wired, and it's exactly what you want. Then you add the word. That is, it's viable. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to poo-poo it. It's viable, but it's not something that's going to break the bank, believe me. When you know what you're doing, I can add a word in the beginning or add a word later on. The dog, the hardwiring of the dog, there we go. Good girl, good. Now, I don't know if you saw me do that down, and I didn't say down. All I did was I had the food in my hand, and I take my palm here, and I push down. I'm not forcing the dog. I'm just giving a little bit of pressure and making the dog want to go to the food, and then boom, they drop into the down because of the pressure on the nose. They get the idea real quick, and then right away, the release of it is what matters, right? So right now, remember, we're only 4 days in, so I'm just trying to get the dogs used to this little pattern and get them high on this. Good girl, yay, good girl, yay, good girl. So we start to build up on some basic behaviors. But again, it looks impressive when you have somebody out there doing all these little food luring behaviors, and they look great when they're doing it. But again, that's secondary to me. I want the dog to be mentally and physically strong as I build the animal so that they can take on the world in all kinds of different ways. And then I weave in or mesh in the other stuff that I want. Good. She doesn't know it's on the ground. She's following the hand. Did you see that? She's so young. She's just a baby. Her brain hasn't clicked on the movement that I want. So what do? I don't worry about it. I get away from it. It'll come. The dog brain will change. Right now she's float like a butterfly, sting like a brain. Her brain is all over the place. So you just accept where the dog's maturity is levels at and their age. Good. Right when she dropped, I let go of the food. So I've already got it down started. And then the idea is to get her used to me dropping it in the middle of her feet. She's too young right now. I just want her touching things, like touching the bowl, following the lure enough that she's doing what I want her to within the context of positive and negative. This is a positive thing. She does it. She sees the hand, and notice I'm not right in her nose. She's doing behaviors on her own. No, I'm not going to worry about it. Good. But it tells you she's already going to get used to this. 2 bowls and a table. 2 bowls and a table, and this location is going to be a place that they come out every morning, every other day, or whatever I'm working the animal, and I'll start building in little behaviors. The spinning and all that stuff will be done as I go along, and I'll weave it in. But it's not something that I'm going to put all my emphasis on. All my emphasis stays on the animal husbandry, the health of the animal, and then people, places, things, environment, and what that does to pull the dog together to be a very strong, secure dog within themselves. Because if I have that, I can teach them anything, right? And that's the thing that cracks me up when I see all these sport trainers and all these kids working their dog. They're so stuck on these behaviors. Behaviors are the next thing. You mesh it in as you're going along. Behavior is something that I'm going to get with time if I have the right drive, like this chasing. She's after that food. She's got a nose. I like this. She's on the ground, boy. She's got a nose, huh? She's got a nose, but I can't let her have that because once she starts, I won't be able to fight it. Good girl. All right, hop, hop, come on. Nope. I've got a couple pieces that I dropped on the ground here, so I'm going to get rid of those and try to clean the slate. But she's got smell. It's going to be residual, so she's going to be, yes. All right, so I will bring in a clicker here pretty quick and get that in as soon as I can. But remember, we're only 3-4 days in with an 8-9-week-old puppy. Good. So I'm going to do my click and she'll start getting used to that sound. She has no idea what that sound means yet. This is my first time I've even clicked. Notice her go to the ground so much. It's because when I drop a hot dog, it's there. I see a hot dog there. Even when it drops and I kick it out of the area, it's still got that residual smell. She's right on top of two hot dogs. That's impressive when I see a dog. But they've all got noses. And when they're young, they're such a clean slate. It's such an easel to paint on, right? If you know what you're doing, it's there, right? Especially when you've got a well-bred dog, right? Good dog, yay. Good, yay. And this is a Dutch Shepherd. This is a dog that I do not suggest for the layman or somebody that's never had a dog before. I won't sell you one of my dogs. The genetics are just too strong. The dog's going to end up outmatching you and end up being too much for your learning. You need to learn by getting a dog that's more of a pet quality dog that you can learn from in the beginning. This is too much dog for most people. It'll spin out and end up in the pound in a year or so and getting put down. That's the sad part about some of these high drive working dogs that were now available to get to us compared to the old days. We're having dogs come over from Europe all the time. And it's something that's kind of filtering into our society more so than it did in the old days, right? There wasn't as much of an interest in working dogs and a lot of these sports and everything that we're after these type of dogs and or law enforcement, right? So we have a lot more of availability of these high, well-bred dogs than we used to. Our skill levels are a lot better too. You got a lot of good trainers out there, and I could drop names all over the place, but there's a lot of people that are pretty good at what they do. Law enforcement, etc., getting into sports, but it's all about understanding the hardwiring of the dog and conditioning of an animal that makes you a little better than others. Man, there's some people I'd love to hang out with, but I'm not rich, so I can't drop what I'm doing and take off and spend a lot of money on it. I'm locked down here because I got to make a living. I've got to take care of my location and what I'm doing, so it's real tough for me to get away. And that's one of the problems when you have a business like this that's just trying to make a living, pay your rent and buy the food, and things are so expensive right now, gas-wise and everything else. It makes it real tough. Good girl. She has no idea yet. And I'll concentrate on this clicker aspect of things as we go along. Flutter a little bit with a click. And she'll pick up quick. They're a sponge, dude. When they're babies, they are a sponge. That's why it's so important for you guys to realize how much of a sponge they are. Everything you do affects their mental attitude. And if you don't think about what you're doing and you do the wrong things, you're going to have a weak milksop, right? Even with a really strong dog like this, as far as genetics, then you have all that energy and all that drive going in the wrong places, kind of like Gunzo. You know, that Shepherd's a pretty strong dog, but he's been affected by not being worked properly. Can we overcome that? Yeah, but he'll never be the dog that I would have. Building a dog like Dante or Simba, I've got all kinds of dogs that I've had in my hands. That's why, and I'm pretty good at what I do in that regards. Puppies is what I love, just young adolescent dogs. Building something, the product that you build is a direct reflection of who you are as a trainer, right? What I turn out is what is important to me. She'll catch on to this. She's following the lure and doing her thing. And I'm going to start accenting. And when you do the right thing, click and then food, right? Yep. And they're going to be breakfast time. We're going to take them back to the kennel, put them in their kennels, and I'll take them out and get them food. And then they'll stay there for the next session. Will be a little bit later this morning, this afternoon, whatever. A lot of separation, a lot of time by themselves. They've got both of them next to each other. I need to pull them apart because they're so into being siblings. And you've heard of it, when you get a dog that's siblings, they end up getting too attached to each other and they won't give you the time of day. So we want to not have that happen. The golden rule is do not buy two puppies from the same litter. It's not a good thing. And then keeping them separated is important. See her? This is a good thing. I mean, this is seeking nature, right? I'm going to take her out of here. That's the key. I want her to learn that I've always got the food. No matter what I tell her not to do, she comes back up and I'm the bank of boo-boo, right? And along with the negative on the other side where she can't get to it, and I never let her win by having it. That's what's important. Good girl. All right, we're done. All right. Good girl, Jezzie. Good girl. 4 days in with Jezebel and No Name. No Name is available. Talk to you later. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training, signing off. Say bye-bye, Jez. Say bye-bye, Jez. What's a good girl? Yay. She says to Jezebel. Jezzie.